Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Richard Jewell. Richard Jewell is the latest film from acclaimed actor and director Clint Eastwood, based on the real-life events involving the 1996 Atlanta Olympic bombing. When his name is brought up as a major suspect, Jewell is tasked with proving his innocence not only to the FBI, but to the nation with the help of Eastwood in this film. So I actually thought the trailers looked very intriguing. I'm not overly familiar with Richard Jewell and his story. I know of this event clearly, but I was very young when it happened, so I wasn't part of this media frenzy. However, the cast looked great. The subject material looked ripe for a good drama. The only thing holding it back, unfortunately, was director Clint Eastwood. Because over the past few years, certainly, he's been a lot more miss than he's been a hit for me. Even his better films in the past several years, they just haven't done it. They don't measure up to what his movies once were. Obviously hitting a huge low last year with the 15-17 to Paris being just terrible. But nevertheless, I was excited and hopeful that he would return back to his filmmaking prowess. And for the most part, I would say he does, but understatedly so. Richard Jewell is a very good, solid movie, but it just doesn't quite live up to greatness. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, I want to start with our cast because I think they are fantastic. Literally, all of the ensemble is really, really strong here. Paul Walter Hauser is great in the titular role of Richard Jewell. He has such a wonderful, vulnerable naivety to him that works beautifully in this setting. And you feel for this person, you feel for him as a character, as a human, thanks in large part to the performance from Hauser. Then we have Kathy Bates, who is always fantastic, but whoo, she is in top form in this film as our mother character, Bobby. And there's one scene in here in particular, obviously, that is just like a showstopper. But she honestly is like stealing the scene anytime she's in frame. She is so good. And she's asked to do a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to the emotional tasks of this film, and she is more than up for the challenge. Sam Rockwell is also fantastic. He's on his hot streak right now with great performances regardless of the film, and he's amazing in this movie yet again. Jon Hamm delivers on this like really staunch asshole of an FBI agent, and he's great. And then we have Olivia Wilde. Now, I have problems with her character in the film and that entire subplot, which we'll get to in the negatives, but I think Olivia Wilde really delivered the character. You could tell she was in it. She enjoyed kind of having fun with this character, and I thought her performance was really strong as well. And a special shout out to Nina Arianda because she plays a smaller character in the movie, but she's so good every single time she's on screen. I just want to kind of follow her around. And I think Clint Eastwood has a great compassion for our main character of telling his story. This is certainly a one-sided film. It is certainly a movie that is here to present the fact of Richard Jewell being innocent. It doesn't make any qualms about that. And you can feel Eastwood's passion for that. And it really rings true as we're depicting this character and really following his journey. And the story itself is also very interesting. This kind of setup from the FBI, this big media hoopla that really led to an early conviction, if you will, especially in the public eye. The damage is done, the conviction is made before we even step into a courthouse. I think that is where this movie kind of shined through, is really showcasing that. As for the filmmaking itself, Eastwood is sort of back. So we get moments where it's like really good stuff. The entire first act of this film, I think, are stellar with our main character as this kind of security guard. We're leading up to this big moment, and it really builds upon itself very well. And then the big emotional payoffs build really well. But on craftsmanship, that's where we're also going to just head on over into the negatives, because Clint Eastwood makes some kind of sloppy choices that I don't understand, just in terms of editing and putting the film together. This film rings in at 2 hours and 19 minutes, and honestly, several minutes of that runtime could have been cut out simply from cutting off a scene earlier or entering a scene later or just cutting out literally nothing scenes. There's like this moment pretty early in the film where we just follow this group of teenagers. There's like three of them or so walking. They literally have nothing to do with anything. Like, there is no point to follow them. We don't revisit them. We don't ever see their faces again. They don't give us any sort of clues or any sort of anything involving the film, and it just struck me as odd. There's another moment where we get like a weird door shot. We come into scenes too early before we're needed. We stay past where we need to go. And it just kind of like nagged at me throughout the film. Like every scene, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not a very tightly crafted film. And then let's get to the Kathy Scruggs character played by Olivia Wilde, because I do think that the character just kind of didn't gel into the story, didn't fit. It's a big caricature. I'm just gonna be honest. This reporter doesn't even really write her own stuff. She has somebody else basically ghostwrite for her and punch up her material. She literally sleeps with agents and sources to get her information for her stories and her scoops. And there's literally just no humanity to her. She is played off as just kind of like this undeserving joke of a woman. And it just is a very shallow, underwhelming depiction. Not satisfying in the least. You're just watching this person. She doesn't even get a chance to be like a good villain because she's a joke. I mean, it's all just a joke. It was a missed opportunity to give us this like really hungry reporter who is competent and good at her job that is gaslighting a false narrative. And we did it. We went this really cheap blah route. I also didn't like the last shot. I'm just gonna say that here. I didn't like how it actually ended. The final shot of the movie just felt clunky. And while I understand why Clint Eastwood wanted to present this man's side of the story as being innocent in the ordeal, I'm always more intrigued when we have that possibility of, well, did they actually do it? When we have those questions in our brain of, did they do it? And there's really no question here. I mean, it's pretty much just listening and rooting for the underdog. And I think narratively, it could have been more interesting to kind of keep the audience at bay a little bit longer into the film, or at least have some sort of doubt over the plausibility of it all, and then have that triumphant moment come through. But again, Eastwood made this film to just put this innocent story out there, so it is what it is. So overall, Richard Jewell is a good movie, a solid movie that I did enjoy watching, and I enjoyed learning about the generalities of the event and of the person. And if nothing else, it has inspired me to want to look up more about Richard Jewell, to look up more information about this bombing and the specifics within the event, because I'm not completely convinced on what I saw on the screen there, but it has inspired me to want to know more. And I think that is the baseline of a good recommendation. However, it's not an excited recommendation. It's not an excitingly good film. It's one that will mostly come and go other than remembering these amazing performances. So overall, my recommendation is a very solid matinee film. I don't know that there's anything in here that requires like full price viewing in the theater, but if you go in for that matinee price, I think you'll really be satisfied leaving the movies. So that is my review of Richard Jewell. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Richard Jewell? And what is your favorite Clint Eastwood movie? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, And I'll see you next time. Bye!